Good morning,
Good morning.
Chris.
Good morning.
How
How
are
are you?
you? I'm good.
Jake?
I'm good. I think we got a bit of a delay. Good morning to Chris and Gloria's live chat show, Open Minds. The weekend begins here. It's Saturday morning, 11 o'clock. And welcome to our audience coming in. Thank you for joining us today. So, what have you been
Good
up to,
morning,
Chris?
all. What have I been up to?
Yeah, what have you been
Um,
up to?
well, sorting the garden out. That was one thing. I've had new doors fitted.
Mhm.
Um, Other than that, not a great deal, Gloria. No. That's all I've been up to, really. Yeah, just
Have you
general thing.
been doing any writing? Your inspirational writing? Have you been doing that?
I did some the other day. Yeah, when someone forced me to go live, didn't they, Gloria? Not
Oh, I
mentioning
did,
names.
didn't I? Sorry about that. Hi,
Um,
everybody. Welcome, Catherine, Karen, Kelly, Lisa,
Morning.
Joanne, Tracy, everybody, all coming on live. We are live on YouTube. I hope, Chris, are we not?
We certainly are.
Simultaneously.
Yes.
Um,
Please go to the
just
YouTube
check in.
channel.
Yeah, just check in. Okay, guys, thank you for joining us this morning. Me and Chris are really excited today. We have a lovely soul, Roxanne Swainhart, and I've got my auto cue here to try and get it correct. Roxanne is a conscious channeler. Her greatest passion is to channel different entities and share her wisdom with humanity. I first saw Roxanne a good few years ago on Gaia TV, and I was on there watching all the channelers, and I was like, wow. And then it was down to the last two. There was two that I resonated with. Was Rob Gauthier, who channels Treb and Ardif, and then I heard Roxanne, and that was it. Boom, I was gone.
I
And
love it,
I
Gloria.
like to say, I'm a greatest UK fan.
She's so down to earth, and I think that's
Mm,
what makes the appeal to it. You know,
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I've
cool.
just,
We love
it's
it.
just, as you guys know that watch the show every week, I chat for England as normal and overshadow Chris. However, today I'm
I'd
going
say I'm here looking pretty, Gloria, but that'd be a lie, wouldn't it? So, but I'm here.
to. But today it's guys, you're going to see me mute. The show will run itself. Um, Hi Mia, hi Anna, Eleanor, Tammy, Sylvia. Hi everybody. Okay, without further ado, Chris, we can't hold this energy any longer. Please bring in out of the naughty room the wonderful Roxanne Swainhart, please.
Good morning, Roxy.
Good
Good morning,
morning. Good
Roxy.
morning. Good morning. How is everyone?
We are all well. Thank you very
Lovely.
much. So,
I believe
Roxy,
it's
you're in Texas. Texas?
Oh, yes. Yeah. San Antonio, Texas.
early
And the
hours in the
time
morning.
is?
What's
Yeah.
that? 6 o'clock. Yeah.
Okay, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Obviously, we're very nervous, and you know this. So, I'm going to just start with an initial question, Roxy. There
Yeah.
will be some who haven't heard of you, and it's going to be a blessing today when they do. Can you give us a brief description of who you are and what you do and a bit of your
Yeah,
journey?
sure. Well, it's Roxanne Swainhart. I'm a channel. What's that? You connect vibrationally through your consciousness to entities around creation, different frequencies, different incarnations, la-di-da-di, everyone. You don't need to get caught up into the details. You just understand there's a portion of you connected to consciousness. Otherwise, uh, we would be alone, and we're not. We're all, So, anyways, so I connect with those in channel, and channeling has been around for a very long time, way back to Edward Casey days. And of course, Jay-Z Knight, who pioneered it and plowed the road for channeling on the Merv Griffin show. For any of you who have gray hair like me, would know that, and who Merv Griffin is. And of course, Abraham Esther Hicks has been an absolute champion with this. And Then we grow into Cryon and Bashar, and then the popularity took off in 2012, and a lot more channelers came online. Kind of like along the lines of psychic and mediums, we tune into a different frequency, different portion of the collective of ourselves, and bring through information. And I started channeling in 2012, and I started to get to know, like you said, Rob Gauthier and Dan Scranton, Nora Harold, Wendy Kennedy, Lee Carroll with Cryon, and just the greats. I always call them the greats. And then I came online and started being my version of great, and explored my reality and started channeling, and then it picked up, and then, well, let's see, we're here. So yeah.
That's cool. I'm going to ask, so Roxy, what is it that you channel? Who are you channeling, and what is the message?
Well, it's not necessarily a message of time. Message of time is something of a value for humanity to understand themselves in identity of memory and image. And usually you hold on to that for certain purposes because you don't know your own existence in and of itself. Not only is it self-evident, but it's enough. Your life. And sometimes time and memory of a certain way is what we construct as a value. So people want to say, what's your message? My message is, how are you doing today? What do you want to talk about? That could be the message. The message is, hey, such and such is this and such is that. I mean, you might want to look into that. So it always lies on the interaction of the moment. And the moment is always flowing and always expansive. But, we value time very much here on Earth. We have memories, and we have, out of memories, we can perceive futures. So it's not that who I channel necessarily. I know there's here, let's look at humanity. We identify objectively. Okay, creation in and of itself is, we don't identify as the nature of creators. We're creators, right? We don't have a problem with ourselves. We journeyed into a little bubble called humanity, a little playground, a sandbox. Nothing more than that. Don't make it special. It's a little sandbox, and we plugged in as creators, and we co-create this little bubble, this little bubble. There's all these co-creators putting their energy into it, and we're having an experience. And that experience is evolving a species called Homo sapien. When it goes to fourth density, it'll be called Homo galacticus, is the word around the galaxies, right? So we co-create a consciousness. And that creator self is looking at itself in a way that we've never been able to create, but we discovered. We never thought about it. It just kind of happens in the idea of where you let things go. I call that law of attraction. I have nothing to do with law of pursuit. I have nothing to do with law of becoming. I'm enough, and my world is attracted to me, so I get the hell out of my way, and my life is awesome, right? So in that, creators version themselves in a perspective called human that doesn't know they're gods. We don't know we're gods, creators, call this what you will, source, point, zero, whatever it is, whatever floats your boat, I don't care. That portion of yourself is objectified. So it looks at things as objects and defines them and values them. That's why with strangers, you don't give a crap about them. That's why you can spill your guts to strangers, because you don't give a crap about them. But if you have an object that's very valuable, an employer, a wife, a husband, a kids, or something that you give dependency with, the church or your political stance, and that is objectified in the idea of value, then you have to define it. So there's really not a whole hell of a lot of who's out there. Humans look for who's. We're like fucking owls. Oh, pardon me. We're like little owls. Who? It doesn't matter who. We don't need to identify, because whatever that word is, whatever that object is still going to be defined by you no matter what anyone says. Because the kingdom of heaven lies within. The truth lies in the eye of the beholder, right? Yeah. So it's always your truth no matter what. You're the one in pain. You're the one in suffering. You're the one having hope. You're the one in glory. Everyone else is their own universe. So you kind of see that no matter what I say about, if I channel Osipius or Sylvester or Buford or any of the crew that have come along over the years, they're still going to be interpreted by you. And they give an infinite amount of messages. And the messages always lie within the context of the moment, whatever the moment may be. If the moment is about this, we will channel about that idea. So you're looking for particular ideas. If you want to talk about something about happening in your life, that channel will come in at that moment and give those ideas. So it's never a permanency thing. It's always an expansive moment. But we're so hell-bent on not being enough. Our entire education system teaches us we're not enough. We always have to become. And as soon as you get out of education, you got to become something else. And as soon as you get there, you got to maintain that becoming. And in your life, try to find some happiness while maintaining that image that you're supposed to be, called a career, and then you die. Yay! No, that's not what it's about. It's about exploring yourself, the passions of the now, and expand them. But the key is you can make it whatever it is about. It doesn't matter because no one's in charge and no one cares, because it's all creators that are unconditional points of view, consciousness. And we don't have a care or concern about humanity because humanity isn't in peril. We're just an experience. That's all we are. Make it anything like that. Make it human. If you like it being human, then be human. Have your human times. Have your suffering and your hopes. Have your successes and failures. Have your atrocities and your glories. Be the best human you can be. But I would offer, understand the perspective that that's your belief systems and your truths about reality. So therefore, they're your experiences. And if you have the humility and the understand that you create your reality through the way you interpret things, maybe some of those interpretations are based on cultural beliefs. Maybe some of those interpretations are based on because you were handed a religion when you were raised. Maybe some of those beliefs were because you were born in an idea of an education system that says this is more important than that. And then you have two people that run down the road 20 years later from birth, and they meet somewhere at a little pub, and one's a Muslim and one's a Christian. Which one's wrong? Neither. Because every singularity is just journeying in a vast unconscious or unconditional consciousness of do whatever the hell you want to do. Because no one dies. No one does anything except experience. How you perceive it is your universe. And that's the fantastic thing. So when it's the question of what's the message, it'll never be the message. Because we're not special to give you guys the message. Because you guys are creators. Just like everybody else. So, it's enough.
That was brilliant. That was brilliant. Chris, do you have a question?
I was going to ask Roxy, and it might be that question, but for those who have an understanding, is there a shift or a process that you go through to gain that knowledge of that it's just an experience, that it doesn't matter about this, doesn't matter about it's a change of who you are in a sense? Do you know what I mean?
Channeling?
Well, channeling, or I know it's just a way to be, is the channeling, but is there a process you went through to gain that understanding of yourself? Does that make sense?
The most obvious is Roxanne. I wasn't born Roxanne. I was born Roy. And then you have this vibrational relationship to reality that doesn't fit what you're supposed to be. And you spend a lifetime trying to make it fit. Yeah. You make yourself fit into a lifetime of external acceptance because the value of externalism is more valuable than the eternal world. I mean, we're born pieces of crap and we have to earn people's respect. We have to make ourselves something. How many times a day do you guys justify your existence with a resume of your past? You don't need to anymore. You're enough. But those people are just looking to be fed. They want to get something out of you. And whether it's good, bad, or lies, wherever in polarity is irrelevant. That's just the emotional experience side of it. Upset or happy. Doesn't matter, but it's just that's the attachment. So when I knew that there was something different about me around 8 years old, I struggled from that time to understand what I am, understand what that is. And I went through pushing it down and, I think it was my freshman year, Oh, goodness.
Nice.
1981, I think, was when I graduated 85. So I was supposed it would be 1981 is when I just tried to get my dad's approval, my dad's love, because I was the nature, go ride a bike. I didn't like sports. I wasn't very academic. It was like school. What are you talking about? School? Why? Well, it's nice out. We can go ride bikes. Let's go ride our bike. Let's go play. Let's go get dirty, get ticks on us, and clean it up. You know, I think that's why I have a really good immune system. Is because I played in the dirt,
Yeah.
a lot of dirt, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, so I started to understand that I wasn't fitting the norm, and you push it down. And then one day I wanted to fit in, so I started sports, and I got this little click, and I was like, "Rrr," and then I started running track and started wrestling, and I started getting my dad's attention. It was like, oh, people like me now. So I put Roxanne away. I didn't know her name at the time, but I put her away. And she always came out in the idea of relationships. I have 3 ex-wives. I have a set. I'm so proud. So I have 3 ex-wives because I was always the wife. And that doesn't work. You know, when you have 2 vibrations being the idea of the female, you know, usually you get the male and the female version. It doesn't matter the gender. You always get a role that fits. It's the nature of you, right? So it didn't work. And as my life is going on, I realized I was like, okay, something is, you know, and you want to figure it out. And that was the first step, Chris, is to realize that I'm putting on a relationship, a belief system that says different than what is the nature of myself, right? So I looked at a couple of things. If I'm enough, and thou shalt have no other gods before me, and the kingdom of heaven lies within, and the truth lies in the eye of the beholder. And I use these because they're relevant in the space-time continuum that we're still playing around with Christianity and Catholicism and the religions to front ourselves, you know, to mask ourselves and hide behind the skirts of those powerhouses for whatever reasons of justification. So those things right there, I started to look at and I was like, wait a minute, maybe this is a message for us that slipped through the cracks. Not every pope can define the Bible and edit it enough to make you afraid, right?
Yeah.
So I started looking at this relevant self, and I was like, here's what happened. I was having a great sexual romp with my 3rd ex-wife, and we're just going at it like banshees. And it's just phenomenal. And she had me dressed up, and that's all you need to know. we'll keep it polite. So anyway, and then I looked at myself in the mirror dressed up, and I was like, oh. And that's when it clicked. You know, it was like, that's the nature of this. So that was the first thing. I was putting on an image because I was supposed to. Not my fault, because remember, don't forget about this, everybody. You came here and you forgot everything you knew. Nothing. You know nothing about your entire collective, your infinite number of lives, your past lives or future lives, if you want them put them in time, but they're now lives, right? Here you are, this big G, this big gestalt of an infinite number of creations, all happening sequentialtaneous, filling up the consciousness of you through an infinite number of experiences, right? And I was, don't forget that. Don't forget you forgot. So I started seeing, wait a minute, this is here. This outside, if I have to wear a pair of clown shoes one more day, I call my men's shoes clown shoes because they just look so big on my feet, you know, and a nice pair of pumps or something. It was like, oh my, you know, it's like, oh, look, and there's a sale. So anyway, so I knew it. So in 2010 and July 1st, it was done. I left the house as Roxanne and never returned to Roy and start living my life. And it was an absolute magnificent, not happy, magnificent, not happy and not magnificent experience of unequivocal realities because I could ever created to go through that experience, to be let's see, I'm 54. I guess it would be 43. 43, 20 years in the car business, throwing away my career right out the door because no one wants a non-passable transgender selling them a car in the middle of white country, or Republican place or whatever you want to call it. The ones that have a real issue with people just being awesome and don't fit their world, so they gotta kill them. Oh, what? You're not this color. You're gonna die. Thanks. We'll just go ahead and commit genocide on an entire nation. I just love throwing in those shits. I do.
I know you do. I know.
So what you do is you represent the truth of you, and then the freedom starts. Now you have to deal with a whole bunch of arrows getting shot at you, and I did. But that was experience. That was my mastery. It's not right or wrong. I'm not going to get mad at people for being what they are. It's like, hey, it's not like I'm going to jump on board and be with you. It's like, do whatever you want to do. But don't bring your mojo on me because I'm not going to play with you. I'm not going to accept you as that idea. I'm going to accept you for your beauty of an unconditional creator, but I'm not going to jump on board with your point of view if it doesn't version with mine. Don't make me fit your sandbox because your sandbox, you're too afraid that it has to be a different way because you think you're losing identity if someone else doesn't change in front of you. Doesn't mean you have to change. That's all. So anyway, so I did that. And then I start realizing, Chris, my beliefs. I start realizing my anger was a top belief system. My hate was a top belief system. My hope was a top belief system. My needs and desires and imagery were the constructs of the human experience because we forgot. So we covet the things that are natural to us that we see every day and we build a personality. If I took the consciousness of Chris and took him out of the idea of being born up in the UK and being this idea and put you in the middle of Cambodia, you're not the same person. You don't have the same beliefs. You don't have the same culture. You don't have the same taste. Take you out of there and put you in the Cape Town. You don't have the same person. Take you out there and put you over in Cameroon. And then you're braiding hair in an idea for a living. And you're a female. See, we're consciousness and we're not defined by the expression. But the imagery of humanity defines us as the idea of objectification because we don't know we're creators. We're outside of ourselves. We forgot we're objects of our own creation. We're reflection. We think everything around us has to be defined and have meaning and reasons. Humans are reasonable. Creation is unreasonable. We have no reason for anything because we're creators. We just create experiences. Look around, everyone. Stop. Don't pay attention. Look around. You're creating a reality. It's not how you create or what it is that it is.
Yeah.
You're alive. You're a reality. You're living an experience every now. There's nothing that you're not always being. I am. It's fantastic. So you had to deal with these things during the awakening. You had to look at those cultural belief systems and you have to represent the change. You allow people. You don't turn into a preacher. You don't tell people that they're wrong. It's like the spiritual world. They're being the same thing as the world they left. They just take 3D terms and they moved them into 4D definitions. Instead of like a massage therapist, I'm a Reiki healer or something like that. It's not that you're being a massage therapist or a Reiki healer or not. It's what you image. You're defining. It's like veganism, right? Oh, veganism, we're this, we're special. No, you're not. You're preachers. You're the same thing, but you're just wrapping yourself in a different idea package. Yeah. It doesn't matter if you're a vegan. I don't care if you're a vegan. But if someone wants to have, eat Miss Piggy, let them eat Miss Piggy. It doesn't matter. If they want to have a nice steak, let them have a steak. Because you think they're slaughtering the animal. How do you know? How do you know what the animal feels? You're only creating a reality of seeing something being slaughtered. That's your experience. The animal is having their experience. You don't know what they're seeing. It's like plants all of a sudden don't feel. Plants are dead. When you're chewing a raw plant, they're not screaming. Really? How do you know? You won't put in that context because you have to have a value of separation. So I'm doing a good thing to make the whole world better. Got the whole world. Hey, stop. Stop trying to make the world better. The world's not a bad place. You only perceive it as bad. So you need to get nasty and brutally honest with yourself and look at the belief systems that you lay before you. Not because it's your fault or no one else's fault, because we all forgot this is a game. It's an experience. It's a ride in an amusement park. We're in Willy Wonka's chocolate factory enjoying ourselves, but it happens to be encouched in polarity. So we have suffering and we have joys.
Mm-hmm.
We have preachers and teachers and reachers. We have all these things that we do for the experience and the mastery of creation, to know itself, all of us. So I started to see that when I woke up, I started seeing these belief systems, and I started seeing a lot of structures in consciousness that was spirituality, which is not right or wrong. It's what people perceive. So I can't get mad at them for being a vegan and then barking at the top of their lungs, be a vegan, you shouldn't eat meat. Great. I'd like a prime rib, please. Potato, and smash it with cheese and sour cream. Make it yummy. Asparagus buttered. And I'm not going to pay attention to another because no one's my authority.
Yeah.
No one's in charge of me. Right? But I had to be okay with that, Chris. I had to be okay that I'm enough because I was taught I was not enough. So Roxanne was the first big step of going through those belief systems. And then I engaged in the parts that I bought in from my mom and bought in from my dad, algorithms I didn't even know I had as a way to behave and interact and interpret reality, which immediately gave me my experience, my reality. No matter how much I wanted to give it to other people, it was still mine. It's like trust. If I'm going to trust someone else, then I'm going to put that someone else in an expected box. And if they're valuable to me and we have dependencies on each other, then they have to live within that box. That's rude in my world. I'm not going to make anyone trust. I'm not going to trust anyone because I trust me. Now, what does that mean? Now, look at this. I trust me because I attract my reality. So if you're in my reality, it must be my match. So I'm not going to get mad at it. I'm not going to try to gain your respect or you don't need to gain mine. We're co-creators that all forgotten we're having a good old time. We don't know it yet. We have the value of emotion as our point of view. So when we see a reality, we dictate it immediately and it gives us an emotional relationship. Traffic accident, horrible. Plane crash, horrible. Feeding the homeless, that's nice. Giving them a blanket, oh, they're so sweet. That's an emotional relationship, and that's our experience, and that's awesome. But then when you understand those relationships are coveted belief systems just because you were born on the planet Earth and just because you were born in the culture that you are, then that's the way you engage in your reality and you covet things. So you become that, So I had to get brutally honest and realize these things were my issues. I don't need to trust anyone because if I trust someone, they're going to betray me. Why? Why are they going to betray me? Karma? No. Karma, you can't kick yourself in the butt for something you haven't done because everything is here and now. Time is an idea of a memory created that gives you the illusion of yesterday or the experience. So anyways, it's like if I give them trust and they betray me, right, then I'm going to experience betrayal. What did they do? They didn't do that to me. They were themselves. I can't put anyone in the guise. What am I going to be at all of a sudden? What do you want me to call me, Stalin or Hitler? Which one works? Which tyrant should I be when I tell someone to fit my box? Get out of your way. You're enough. But that's where it starts. It starts with worthiness. It starts with the realization you don't have to earn your way back to creation. You're already a creator having a human experience. And in that, we have a version of ourselves that doesn't know itself is existing. And the value of its own existence is tempered by humanity on the standards of what they called achievement or valuable. And then we try to live up to those expectations on a daily basis to make ourselves feel good. If you fall in love with you, there's no justifying your existence, no defending your points of view. And there's always the simplicity of allowance to let people do because no one's a threat anymore. It's the value of worthiness. I let Roxanne out. When I brought her out, I was like, oh, you magnificent. Hang on. I ordered a coffee, and I actually had an Uber driver at 6 o'clock in the morning in Texas.
Awesome.
I create my reality. So anyways, so I started looking at how do I love me by just choosing the value in the moment. The one that says, oh, I can't say that because if I do, they'll think something of me or I'll make them mad. No, you won't. You're not going to make anyone mad. Now, their reaction might be mad and they may have a dependency on externalism and they say, it's your fault. And you're going to say, yeah, if you want it to be that way, it is. But I made a choice and you reacted to it through your kingdom. So go ahead and have your little temper tantrum and get mad at me. I don't care because I'm enough.
Yeah.
Right? So I started to see that these were my belief systems. And then when I started to channel in 2013, I went through those doubts. What the hell am I doing? What is this? Am I making this up? But you go through those things because I'm not like Carla from the raw material and they're trans channels. They're gone. They're not there. They're not present. And I'm a conscious channel, which means I'm present. They're channeling, and I'm over here like kind of watching them. You kind of step aside and you see what's going on, and you have a part of you that can react. And you're like, what are they talking? Where is this going? And as I journeyed, all of those, because I'm putting out what I get back, I'm putting out awesome, I'm getting awesome. All of those belief systems started to show themselves. So I can see my kingdom. And so I started enlightening my castle that was built on the blueprints of time and other people's values. And I started tearing down those walls and started building my own kingdom. I am, and now I live that life and I listen to myself because I'm in charge of me. No one else is. So when I'm vibing in the frequency of I am and my worthiness, then I create that reality. It's okay. It's why prayer doesn't work, guys. It's like global meditation doesn't work as far as the collective. It's about you. It's your singular universe. You're putting out prayer. Who are you giving it to? It's just, it's yours. It's reflected back to you. So if you're putting vibration out prayer that you need something, you're putting out a vibration of lack. So your life stays the same and there will be always reasons to pray. And that's not wrong. It's the human experience. Pray all you want. Do whatever you want. My God, go and play in the infinite playground of forever. But then I started realizing if I'm being worthy, and creation in and of itself that's attracted me doesn't give a crap. It's not polarized. It doesn't see good or bad. It sees your vibration of who you are. I attract that. So I stopped using this and start using this. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I'm going to be awesome in this moment. So I spoke up and said, no. Someone had said, you can't channel reptilians. They're bad creatures. Blah, blah. I say, you ever met a reptilian?
Yep.
Have you ever sat down and have a powwow with a rep? Draconian, you're saying it's bad? Or are you just going off the diarrhea of image of someone else's experience that they interpreted as a human and put it out there and you're attaching it to it, and it is, so you want to put me down. And then if I agree with you, you feel happy because you changed someone. I'm special. Shut up. Shut up. And be your awesome. Stop putting your diarrhea on me. It's like slapping me in the head with your winky. Stop. I don't want it. I'm enough. So I understood. I understood that I didn't need to listen to the value. And I looked at him and said, in my reality, I create my world. There's not evil things. There's not bad things. There's not good things. There's perception of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't believe in negative beings. I don't believe in positive. But if you want to have a belief of a negative being, then guess who's going to experience that? You.
Yep.
Yeah.
You. And I started seeing over and over again, this is all about me, so I'm going to make it about me. Cepheus, the guy I channel, one of them, he said this. He said the highest act of love, Roxanne, possible is to love yourself. Because loving the one is loving the all. Look at the 5 laws. 1, you exist. Can't get over that. Relax. 2, everything is here and now. Now, there and then is having a memory, saying yesterday, and there's a tomorrow. But where's all that happening? In the law of here and now. 3, what you put out is what you get back. You don't put out negative and get back negative. That's the idea of interpretation. You're putting out here. You're putting out lack, full, or wholeful, and anywhere in between. That's the game. 3, the one are all and the all are one. So if I'm one, if I love me, then I have to be loving the all, but I don't need to love the all because we're already one. We're already unconditional love. I don't need to make everything oneness. It's already oneness. I need to make this great and represent the light of the freedom that I found with the authenticity representation of my journey. You don't have to be like me. You don't have to conform to me. I'm not a freaking leader. I'm another run-of-the-mill God. Yay! And I'm just having an experience. And the last law, of course, is change is the only constant except for the first 4 laws. The laws give us creation. Anything else that's beyond is a belief system, is a way to see and experience reality, the way you understand creation. If you want to have a law of karma, then have karma. Do whatever you want to do, but it's never standard. It's your standard. And when you start seeing that, you start to see the relevance of relationship to reality, that you literally do create your own reality. You don't create and manifest the physical things. Those are already there, and they just happen to get you. And whether you choose them or not is not. I chose to buy an Xbox on Amazon for $800 delivered. It's $500 in the store, but you can't get them. So I had access. So I created a physical idea. So I manifested at Xbox. It didn't happen in the now. It took about 2 weeks, the whole process. It's still here. I still get to play Titan Quest. I got an Xbox X Series. I got a nice TV. I create my reality through the idea of the space-time continuum. I'm not going to, oh, look at me. Poof. You know? I'm not that kind of magician. You know, I'm a pagan. It's not that I'm imaging. I'm exploring the nature side of paganism. What it is to be a kitchen witch. What it is to be the idea of conjuring. There's an infinite number of playgrounds on this planet. But we're doing them for purposes so we can get accepted. Do them because you love them for no reason and have no outcome. It's like here in America, for guys that don't know football, we have a great quarterback. His name is Tom Brady. He's the GOAT, and there's no doubt. And people are like, why is he not retiring? What else does he have to prove? He's not proving anything. He's exploring himself as the greatest way to see what he's possibly doing. He doesn't care about the idea of, hey guys, I've got 7 rings out of 10 Super Bowls. People go careers and never even get into the playoffs. And this guy's got 10 Super Bowls with 7 rings, I think. Because he's not about the image. He's not looking for you to approve. He's looking for himself to explore. That's a kingdom knowing himself. That's worthiness. That's what it is. He doesn't have to retire because he's got too much. He represents the authenticity. Be the best truck driver you can be. If you love it, then drive trucks, dig ditches, play the flute, stock shelves, but do it in the throes of passion that you can't get enough. And it doesn't matter if you're going to get pride out of it or not, because someone accepts you for it.
Yeah.
You got to be awesome to yourself. And that's representation. That's what I represent to me, my awesomeness. And I create an awesome reality. It's not a reality of measurable ideas and how much and success and my resume. I don't stand on a resume. I stand on I am. I'm enough. So back to Chris. I found me by seeing the things that were no longer me. And I had to eat some pie, big, humble pie. And it hurt, Chris. It hurt. Because I had belief systems and structures, and I had to let go of those to find a new self I was uncertain of and unknowable, but explorable. And every time I explored the new portion of me that I'm no longer or letting go of the old portion of me and exploring the new portion, I found something, me, and more of me. And me is not defined by an object. It doesn't lie in the idea of transgender or channeling. I represent that, but I'm not going around, come on, transgender rights. I represent, you guys figure it out. I don't give a shit. Have fun. I'm going to be me. And that authentic allows people to be themselves. So channeling was one of the ways I got there. It blew through a whole bunch of belief systems. Awakening, not conforming, not being in a group to be accepted. It's not like what do you call it? The black sheep. A lot of people call them black sheep. And I guess that would be one way to represent it, you know, but it's not the black sheep. It's just a person that doesn't give a crap about what you think.
Yeah.
They like maybe some of the things you're saying, but they're not going to adhere to your advice. And, you know, and people go, well, I tried to tell them. Why? Leave them alone. I got a great idea for your kids. Leave them alone because they're creators. Let them be. Let them figure it out. Let them bump their heads and skin their hearts and skin their knees and learn of love and ABCs. Goodbye, my friend. It's hard to die. Remember that? Seasons in the Sun? Love that song. I know I can't. Anyways, I have been babbling on and on.
No, that's amazing, Mark. That covered so many aspects of with everything you said. With a lot of people, you know, because a lot of people do. I think it comes down to reactions, doesn't it? How you react to a situation, and when you realize what you've just covered there, it stops that reaction that's not needed for your greater good of you.
But when you do the reaction and you have an emotional value in that external action, that's when you got to do the humble work.
Yeah,
that's the humility pie. And said, wow, this is my truth. It's not them. My parents, I was mad at them for the way they treated me compared to the way they treated my brother. But that was them. I can't get mad at them for their own belief systems. They've forgotten their journey in the idea of humanity. I don't need to honor them either because we're all gods. We don't honor each other. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, thank you. No, stop. We're creators. We got this. So I had to look at that. And that's the humility, Chris. It takes to let go of the truth and say, well, wow. You know, this person doesn't fit my world, but they're not a threat. They're not wrong. But I guarantee you, if I get mad at them, I'm going to get a reaction out of that. So why do I want to feed that reaction? I mean, you've seen humanity in the way they reacted to COVID and masks, and you're you know, okay, look. Does anyone remember going into 7-Eleven when you were alone? No shirt, no shoes, no service. Everyone put a shirt on, but now no mask. Oh, you're my rights. You're quiet like a stuck pig going to a luau for slaughter. Mask. Great. Have that reality. But everyone has the right to do whatever they want to do. So play it out. So if you feed that, you're going to get a reaction. I don't care if you want to wear a mask or not. I don't care about your views. But I'm just saying, if you're going to feed that, that's what you're going to get.
Yeah.
If you see that's a relationship with you, now you can let the light out, your light, because this is enlightenment, not excitement. We're not preachers shining our light. You're doing that wrong. You got to live this way, or God's going to get mad at you. And then you're going to be in eternal hellfire. But golly, he loves you so much. Stop. Stop with the beliefs. Get into I am. Become the kingdom. You're worth the journey and the discovery. And there's a place, I guarantee you, there's a place that is serene, but it can't be described by human relationships of peace and happiness. It's so beyond happiness. It's so beyond. It's isness that can't be defined. The minute you define it, the minute you dumb it down. But it's there and it lies within you. Seth, remember your Seth material, Jane Roberts, trans channeler, right? Remember your Seth. You journey away and then wake up to journey home and realize you never left.
Yeah.
You've always been that.
Yeah.
Anyways. Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Bombastic. Go ahead.
Obviously, I mentioned earlier on, I'm going to try and say the name. I'm just blown away with all the Osiphus, correct? Out of all the beings you channel, I have a great resonance with him. Could you, I don't know much about him. Could you give me a bit more sort of like info of who he is?
Why don't we let him come in? You guys, I'm sure you would want to see the channeling for those of you who haven't seen it.
Right? That would be wonderful. Let him come in.
Yay!
Yay, let's channel him.
Let's bring Osiphus. Oh, you there? I'm kidding. Of course he is.
Yeah.
All right. What do you need? Nothing? All right. See you on the other side, guys.
See you on the other side.
And greetings once again to the human collective. This is Osifius. We bid you a good day.
Good day.
All right. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Wonderful. I could be no other way. That is certain. The only way you can see yourself is through the reflection. And since I am not encouched in polarity, there's no way I can be other than what you would consider wonderful. Thank you for asking. How are you?
Good.
Wonderful. What do you want to know? You want to know where I am, what I'm about. I, like
Yes.
you, am an idea of an evolutionist. I start out in a certain frequency of I am. And it's no particular place, and it's no particular time, and it's no particular idea. You just are I am. And through that, in the now, you explore yourself. And there's an infinite number of directions that you go. But I find myself in this portion of consciousness projecting through the eyes of Osifius, a lifetime, an infinite lifetime of exploration. Starting out as what you would call a planet, moving into an idea of a solar system, creating other planets that I am in the idea of a constellation. And what you would consider your space-time continuum, I was what you would consider a galactic, an entire galaxy. And I have an infinite number of stars that I create through my perspective, much like your Gaia is an individual singularity creating a portion of herself, what you would consider a planet. And that's where I am, and that's who I am. So in that journey, I am a gestalt, an infinite number of informational portions of creation, understanding me as a collective. And as this idea here, Roxanne comes along and says, anyone else want to shoot the shit with me? I say yes. We're attracted, we create, and here we are. And so we have journeyed together through many ideas. Roxanne has changed as well as I am, because we are the constant of change. We do not need to define ourselves on the perils of time to identify that as a human experience. When you leave the human portion of yourself that is no longer the idea of your joy, you will only return to the singular self that you are, or I am. And in that, you will choose whatever you want to do next. And remember, you do not forget you. You do not get absorbed into nirvana. You do not lose yourself. The one that I'm talking to, the one that hears me right now, the set of eyes that sees and heals and feels reality. Masters, you are forever. Relax. You're only going to get larger and larger and grow brighter and brighter. Truly. All right. Chris, how are you?
Very good, thank you.
Good. How's your kids?
They're good. Expressing themselves well, shouting away upstairs as we're on here.
Yes. Yeah. Isn't that fun? Let them have it. Because we're here to romp around in the playground of human. But of course, we try to structure them because we fear the outcome of loss. I'm wondering how many parents out there really think that if their parents and their kids behave in a certain way, that they're at fault. Let your kids be and let them discover themselves. Because you're not held accountable for anyone unless you hold yourself accountable in the guilt of your own perils of failure. But that is a human experience. And if you're having that, then enjoy it. Because you don't get it anywhere else. Remember, everything that humans think is in the human world. Whatever the experience of a Nocturian is a Nocturian world. If they're co-creating with humanity, they don't have your point of view. So stop putting monster masks on bunny rabbits. In other words, go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you.
Can I ask a question with the younger generation?
That's why we're here.
That's why we're here, yes. Children that are born in the next generation seem to be more awake or more knowing that they don't want to follow.
They're truly less caring because
yes.
the structure of humanity is changing. I remember there was a time when children were supposed to be seen and not heard. Well, you got rid of that crap, didn't you?
Yeah.
So every generation depletes the value of unworthiness by being a little bit more worthy. So therefore, the kids are not, quote, more awake. They're less idea given belief systems by the next generation. The previous generation, rather, says, you can do this. Hippies created millennials. if you want to put it that way.
Mm.
Right? So
Yes.
it's not that they're more awake. They're just less diarrhea down here that they have to conform to. So they have more ways to express. It's like the idiot who said cars are a passing phrase. And there's a phase. And there's another idiot said you can't make a living playing video games. Yes, you can. You can do whatever you want if you are a creator of passion. If you are a creator of purpose, you're going to stay within the confines of that purpose, and those are always subjected to the idea of the polarity that's encouched within your interpretation of that structure, career, or purpose. But if you are the freedom of the now and you don't care about what you're doing, you're just doing. Like the mathematician who can't sleep, leaning up against the supercomputer to figure out a problem. He'll always have coffee, he'll always have a pillow, and he'll always have a supercomputer because he's passionate to create. He doesn't care about that. He's knowing himself. Like Roxanne will always have a computer if she wants to speak. She'll always have a flute when she's ready to play. We create reality. So these next generations are opening themselves up to the vibration that the time-based continuum or older generations have depleted through the expressions of change. Every generation says, well, in my day, well, good. Your day's dead. Today's now. Catch up. But if they want to hold on, let them. It doesn't really matter. Why? Because they're just experiencers. What they are, literally, your kids, your people, you yourself, is just a reflection of thought. We're not really physical beings. Your quantum physics have already proven that. But that kind of scary. It's very unnerving for a lot of humans. They want to have something solid to hold on to be the idea of valiant in their own stepping stones or own cornerstones that can create and hold their castle together. So I would say this. Know that those reflections, your children, are God's exploring creators. You have 6 children, is that correct?
Yes, I have 6.
So you had 6 spots available for people to come and explore. Booyah. Right? They're just creators having an experience. They're reflections of thought. Let them have it. Okay? And if they bring over dirty laundry, tell them to go down to the laundromat. Maybe give them a quarter. But if you like doing laundry, then do the laundry. Make sure you understand you're not obligated and it's not a duty of you to do the laundry of your children. But if you love doing laundry, then open up a laundromat.
Thank you. Thank you. The simplicity of it is now blatant. It's obvious.
Yes, humans are complicated because we complicate things in the idea of trying to make it fit the world of what we perceive it's supposed to be. And that's usually encouched in the idea of what feels best for that individual.
Yeah.
It's the idea of one man's trash is another man's treasure. You're going to see it always 2 different ways.
I hear you.
Always you.
May I ask another question, please?
Stop asking that.
Okay. Another question.
Yes.
Recently, many have been talking about seeing other dimensional beings, and we're all trying to have an understanding of what's going on in this reality.
You're waking up. The human collective will have first contact somewhere between the years of 2033 to 2035. You will have several more interactive, like your 1997 Phoenix Light, the Yael civilization. They're extraterrestrial beings. They are hybrids of humanity. The Yael will make themselves known several more times over the next 15 years. There will be more and more information released by your governments because you can't stop change. Make sense?
Yes.
You can't keep things the same because you guys know it. You've changed your hairdo, your outfits, the way you live. You're explorers of reality. So we're going to find out as a collective, of human collective, we down here are going to find out that there is other aliens. I mean, it's an awful waste of space if you look at it. All of these suns and stars, and we're the only ones. Maybe that's a belief system. So maybe you're going to start seeing more and more interaction. Don't ask why. Why is kicking yourself in the hoochie. Don't do that to yourself. Let it come because it's traction. We're the constant change. So go ahead and understand yourself as a part of creation awakening. You're going to be in awe of yourself, accept in awe of what's happening, and be awesome. So you fill yourself with your awesomeness. And then you move into the frequency of that continued journey. And there will be more and more interactions. Governments will say, yes, we've had this, we've seen this, and this is happening. And the conspiracy theorists will have their time, and they'll go, oh my God, NTM, it's a twister. And they'll do everything they do to have their journey. You stay in your world. Stay in your eye. Don't go out into the storm. Be your creator. Keep it home and live your truth. Don't worry about the outside world because it's already there. You don't need to manage it. Your arrogance does because you have to have purpose, but you don't need to manage it like you try to manage your kids, just like you were like, Mom, leave me alone. And now you're going, kids, stop.
Allow it. Allow it.
Now. Be, and you will see.
Just be. Allow it.
So it's all happening, and it's going to happen. It's going to continue to happen. And you guys are joining in now because it's like, well, this is the greatest part of humanity. This is the great awakening, and I'm going to be a part of it.
Yeah. We volunteered for this. Is that correct?
It's not a volunteer. There was not a roll call. It's a choice. Stop putting it into human terms. Excuse me, calling all people to come to human. Would you like to be human? No, you came across a reality and you're like, cool, let's go. Whoop.
Boop. I'm with you. Yeah, I hear you. Simple.
Yes, so like you're some hero. You're masters for coming here. Why did you vibrate into a frequency of evolving a species that doesn't know their creation, part of, that they're actual literal creators, gods, if you will? That's the master class. Yes. Why did you do that? Because you're really good at evolving species. You probably evolved 100,000, maybe even 1 million species within your own vibrational universe. Taking incarnation, and moving through the ideas of different ways to experience consciousness evolving. Some of them are densities or dimensions. Some of them are in a frequency of plane, or let's say there's some of them in the idea of liquid light ascension. There's a whole bunch of different ways that you can't even fathom with the idea of your little tiny little bubble of reality that's called human. But
thank you.
You came here to be a master of your own self. You didn't volunteer. You said, absolutely. There was no hesitation. You were like, human. And you guys think you have one life. Oh, it's my first life. I'm so special. Ooh, look at me. Everybody, look at me. I've come here to save humanity. No, you're here to experience yourself as an evolutionist, and you happen to be imaging yourself as that human belief system. Have fun. So it's your truth, your reality. Booyah. Right?
Booyah.
What it is, you're an infinite number of selves. You probably have at least 100,000 lives going on at the same time as human. That's why Beethoven wasn't Beethoven one guy. Beethoven was 50 selves. All of them musicians. He just happened to have a time that he didn't care and let everything through.
Yeah.
Like Tesla. Roxanne's a great channeler. She's a great speaker. Why? Because she's got a shitload of philosophers in her.
Yeah.
So she speaks naturally. Yeah. Right? So find the nature of yourself and explore. And don't be afraid. And don't need to be validated. Be the kingdom. Find it. And watch what happens. Realities. Seas will part. Sowing and reaping will show its, let's say, its wares of its own manifestations. Lies before the kingdom that called them in. Yours. By being I am. Truly.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we had a time. I feel pressure from you.
Yes.
No,
we are near. We're close to time. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're most welcome. We'll see you all around the galaxies. I bid you a good day. Adon.
Good day. Good day.
Hi.
Hello.
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 Hello, darling.
Hello.
Stop it.
I love
Roxy.
doing these and all that. Chop, chop. Sorry.
Chop, chop, darling.
Chop, chop,
Roxy,
yes.
were you aware then? Where did you go just then? You, the identity
You know
Roxy.
what's funny is as I've gotten more into channeling, I become less Roxanne and more the integrated moment. It's like Roxanne and Osiphus. So it becomes Roxius is this new thing. So I used to be over the side as an observer, but now it's the moment. I'm totally aware, but I'm also like, wow, that's awesome.
Yes.
You know?
Channeling.
Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, Roxy,
Amazing.
thank you not enough. Thank you for co-creating with us today.
Absolutely.
It's
You
been
have my pets come and saying hello as well. The cat decided to come in and say hello to you also.
The cat was on screen coming in, getting in there. What can I say? It's a pleasure. It's wonderful. I can't say anything. I'm just going to shut up. I knew this would happen. I love you, Roxy.
I love you guys.
Thank you so much indeed for making the time with us today. And obviously, guys, we have all Roxy's info up online on the webpage, on the YouTube. Follow, is it odysseyofascension.com?
Yep.
Am I correct?
Yep.
Got my glasses on. If you want to find more about YouTube channel. If anyone's interested in channeling, Roxy does have a lovely video. I've watched it. Channeling 101 and numerous others. The most down-to-earth, raw, it just simplifies it as she's done today for us on the show. So we would like to thank you so much, Roxy.
Amazing, Roxy. I could actually feel the energy sat here, and then I was getting images in my mind as well while you were giving the information. So I don't know what to say, really.
And let me just show you how attraction works. Gloria told me when she first talked, it's like, I got to try it. I just got to do it. I'm just going to say, hey. And she texted me, and then we were on the phone, during Messenger. So don't be afraid to explore,
No.
And if you get rejected, it's not rejection until you say it's rejection. It's
correct.
Just another now. Just keep going. Keep going. But this was awesome. You were being awesome. And I was like, yeah, this is awesome. Let's do it. And here we are living the awesome moment.
Yeah.
And it was awesome.
It was awesome. It was wicked. Thank you.
All right, guys. I love you. Should I click up, or are we going to go into the studio again?
Well, we'll put you in the green room.
You go in the studio, the naughty room, and we just say goodbye to the audience, and then we'll speak to you. Okay, see you next time.
Hey, everyone, I love you. Go be here.
Roxy loves you.
Roxy.
Oh, gosh. Right, Chris. Right. So, Chris, I'm going to try and talk at the moment. What can I say? Thank you, everyone, today for joining us in today's show. I look forward to the feedback I can see already. We'll deal with that next week. However, I'd like to... I'm all a loss now, Chris. How do you feel?
Mary Rodwell. I've not even got an auto cue there. Is it Mary Rodwell? Will be joining us next week.
No, she won't. No, you've got the wrong guest, darling.
I thought you actually know, you said that this morning. I thought doesn't feel like that to me. That's who's on. So I'm shutting up.
No, we have next week. I'm trying to get out of one energy and come into another here. Next week we have another wonderful, wonderful being, Mary Bishop. Mary Rodwell's in a future weeks, about a month away. We have Mary Bishop. Mary is an associate of the London College of Psychic Studies, and Mary has worked professionally for the past 35 years in tarot, psychic studies, tarot readings, and all things spiritual. She's also produced 2 books. I think a third is in the process of being made. We are going to touch on all things psychic next week, the collective consciousness with her and her personal journey to where she is today. So I'm really looking forward to that next week. I'm just trying to come down here at the moment, and I'm finding it so hard. To all our audience and future audiences that are going to watch this,
Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please share this out for those that have watched. And go and check out Roxy. She is on Facebook as well as YouTube. So by all means, check that out. She has a group on Facebook also. Other than that,
what do we say, Chris? Okay, so guys, see you next Saturday, and it's good night from Chris.
Good night from Gloria.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. Thank you. It's been wonderful.